hope you guys are all having a great day. In today's video, this is one I've been wanting to do for so long, but I wanted to hold off until I was nearing graduation and all of the numbers were confirmed and solidified, and I knew exactly what I was going to be able to tell you guys. And so I'm actually going to be graduating this upcoming May with my undergraduate degree. I'm so excited. It's very odd because, as you guys probably know, if you've watched any of my previous videos, I've made a lot of content based on college and my experience at Rollins College in Orlando, Florida. And it seems like a lot of you guys have been very curious about exactly, as you guys see in the title, I paid for college, and specifically how I paid to go to Rollins, because it is a very expensive private liberal arts school. And there have been many assumptions over the last few years that I'm rich or that everything was paid through scholarship and all these types of things. And honestly, like, I don't get mad about it because these are assumptions that honestly have a lot of validation behind them. And so today I kind of wanted to set the record straight on exactly what my experience was, what the numbers were. And I wanted to make this as well because I feel like as a senior in high school who is deciding whether or not Rollins is the right fit for you, this is something that you really need to consider, because for me personally, I was not very involved in the financial aspect the first couple years at Rollins, and I kind of regret that. But at the end of the day, I think it also is just because talking about college and paying for it is kind of taboo, which I think is ridiculous. I think when you graduate high school, you're an adult, you're 18, you're going to college, and this is an investment into yourself, into your education, and you really need to understand what you're getting yourself into and what, when you graduate, what your situation is going to look like, and are you okay with paying certain amounts? What school or university is going to be the best fit for you? So I really hope that this video helps in some big or small way. And if you guys have any questions about any specifics, I really don't mind telling you guys. Just put those down in the comments. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off this video first talking about high school, because the college decision doesn't start freshman year. It starts long before that. You apply to schools around October of your senior year, and you start to hear back from them in the new year. So it's honestly around this time of the year, I think February, March, that I got my acceptance letter to Rollins. And I still have a picture of me in my pajamas when I was at home and I got the acceptance letter, and I was so happy because it was the first school I heard back from. And I opened the letter and I saw it, scholarship. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I got a scholarship to Rollins. Like, I wasn't expecting this. Like, I knew that being a part of IB and, my academics were pretty good, but I didn't know how that was going to translate because every school is different. But I was so ecstatic about the scholarship, and honestly, you should be. Like, no matter where you end up going or, what situation is going to be best for you, getting a scholarship is something that you should totally be proud of. It takes a lot of hard work, and you work your butt off in high school to get good grades and be a part of extracurriculars, and you work on your SAT score or ACT, and all of a sudden it pays off. And that is something that no one can really take away from you. So you should be proud, and I don't want you to take anything else away from that. But when you see that word and you see that you got a scholarship, it can kind of be blinding a bit, because to me, as someone in high school who also never had a job, I saw the amount of money, which was $27,000, and I was like losing my crap basically. I was like, oh my gosh, I've officially made it. I got a scholarship for so much money to this school. And I want to tell you the specific scholarship that I got, and it was called the Alonzo Scholarship. And as I said, that is worth $27,000 a year. Okay, so that is a 4-year scholarship that you get annually. Now, of course, I was obviously very proud of myself, but the thing is that a scholarship really is only worth as much as it covers. And so if you get a $27,000 scholarship and the school is only worth $30,000, which is still a lot, then that's great. You only have to pay $3,000 out of pocket. But in my case, Rollins is a little bit more expensive than $30,000. So what I was actually paying out of pocket was significantly more than I thought it was going to be. All right, so after I got the scholarship and I told my parents and we were all super happy, obviously I still had to keep my options open because this was only February, March. I started hearing back from other schools. I got denied from UF. I got into FSU and UCF and Appalachian State. And after considering all my options, I decided the best fit for me was going to be Rollins. I preferred the smaller class sizes. I loved the campus. It was close to home. And I just thought that was going to be the best fit for me. So I confirmed my attendance there. And basically the rest is history. Now at this point, I want to cover the scholarships that I received. So I'm going to go through all of them. Okay, some of them I consistently got every single year. Some of them I did not. So I'm going to go over that. So like I said, the first scholarship that I received was from Rollins, and that was the Alonzo Scholarship for $27,000. Then the other scholarship that I had was the Bright Futures Florida Academic Scholarship. Now, this is not given by Rollins. This was a Florida scholarship. Now, if you live in Florida, you probably know about this. It's a very popular scholarship, and there's a lot of requirements, and there's 3 different tiers to the type of financial aid that you can get. Now, because I was in the IB program, and I actually graduated and got my IB diploma, like passing all my exams, I actually was qualified and eligible to get the highest amount for the Bright Future Scholarship. So that equated to $7,500 per year. Okay, so that is also a 4-year scholarship. Of course, a lot of these scholarships require that you keep up your GPA and things like that, that you take a certain number of credit hours per semester. So you also have to keep that in mind. The third scholarship is the Florida Ease Scholarship, and I forgot what it stands for, but I'll put it here. And that was worth $3,000 per year. I don't even remember applying for this. So I don't know if it was one of those things where when you apply and do your FAFSA that it automatically looks at it, and if you qualify then you get the funds, but I did not apply for this. All right, the fourth scholarship that I had technically isn't a scholarship, but it was the Florida prepaid. So basically, if you live in Florida, I bet a lot of other states do this. Your parents or anyone in your family can set up an account for you. And basically, they put away money every single month towards that prepaid account. And then when you go to college, it gets put towards your tuition. So my parents, I guess, set it up for me when I was a baby. They started paying towards it when I was growing up. And then it equated to $3,500 per year. And then the very last one was called the Rollins Awards Scholarship. So this was from Rollins as well, and it was separate from the Alonzo Scholarship. And it was worth $3,000. But the thing is that I only received it for my first year, my freshman year. And I believe that this is because my first year and the first semester, I actually lived on campus, and I've talked about this in previous videos. Because of the living situation with my roommate not being the best, I ended up going back home and living there for my second semester of my freshman year. So because of that, at the end of my freshman year, they actually took away this scholarship. I think that they were giving it to me because they knew that financially I wasn't able to just afford all of the living expenses, and so they gave me a very small additional scholarship. But because I wasn't living on campus anymore, they decided to take that away. All right, so that is all the scholarships that I got. Now, if you want to know the total for all of the ones that I actually got each year, like the 4-year scholarships, it equated to around $41,000, okay, per year, which is a lot of money, okay? But I want you to keep that number in mind. All right, so now that we've gone over scholarships, I also want to go over tuition cost. Now, the reason that this is so important is because when I was a freshman, or even when I was a senior in high school and I accepted my attendance to Rollins, I actually sat down with my dad, and he really did most of the work, but he put together a little spreadsheet, and he kind of just showed me, you know, what I was going to be paying for, what the financials looked like, and he basically said, you know, each year you're kind of going to be in the positive in regards to like the loans that you're taking out and out-of-pocket expenses. Your loan should actually be more than you need. So you should be in a pretty good spot each semester and not have to pay anything out of pocket. The thing is that we did not account for the drastic tuition increases that happened on an annual basis at Rollins College. And it actually became a kind of big deal my sophomore year because that was a year where they increased the tuition by a ton. It was over $2,000. And I remember I had a charge on my account, and I was kind of weirded out because I had never had a charge on my account. Usually my scholarships and the loans I had taken out covered all of my payments. And this was the first time that I had a lot of money out of pocket that I had to pay. So I started freaking out. I called my dad. At first, he was a little bit frustrated. He's like, I thought you were on top of this. And honestly, I was just very, very naive to the fact that I didn't really, truly understand everything that was being paid for. When my dad showed me that Excel sheet, it was my senior year. I was worrying about prom. I wasn't worrying about college. And so I just kind of was like, yeah, that's great. You have it figured out. That's wonderful. Of course, I regret that, but it's a learning experience that happens to a lot of kids. As you get older, you learn a lot, you grow up. And so it was definitely a wake up call when that happened. And thankfully, my dad was kind enough to help me out. He took out an additional parental loan it's in his name, but I'm of course going to be paying for it. So that helped out a ton when it came to handling that specific situation. And this is the specific term that I accounted for. I thought that when I was a freshman, the tuition that I paid was going to be frozen until my senior year. So basically that meant that every single year I was going to pay $48,000. What I didn't realize is that that doesn't happen for every school. Some schools do that, but some don't. And so some schools, if they increase the tuition by $1,000 from your freshman to sophomore year, you have to pay that difference no matter what. And your scholarship does not increase. Obviously, this is hearsay, but I do want to put it out there that I have talked about this subject many times with some of my friends that have graduated, and they told me that when they were starting to realize that the tuition was increasing, and they also were like me, they weren't very involved in the financials of the college. A lot of their parents were taking care of that and, keeping track of everything. That when they asked the financial aid office about this increase, that they were told at the time that their scholarship was going to increase as well. Now, of course, that did not happen. That was not truthful. And of course, something to keep in mind, this conversation could have totally never happened. So it's all hearsay, rumor, gossip, something to keep in mind, but you never know if there is truth to it. But back to the tuition costs, I do want to give you guys the specific numbers for the tuition when I was a freshman and when I was a senior. And then I'm going to tell you the difference in cost. Okay, so that's going to tell you how much it increased over a 4-year span. I also wanted to tell you guys the years that I started and graduated, just in case you guys watch this long after I graduated, but I started attending Rollins in fall of 2017, and I'm going to be graduating this May in 2021. Okay, so 4 years, those are the spans of time. So that way, if you ever want to look back online, you should be able to find this accurate number as a tuition cost. So the tuition cost for my freshman year was $48,336. Okay, so for the school year 2017 to 2018, that was the tuition cost. Then my senior year, so this year, 2021, school year, the cost of attendance was $53,716. Okay, now $53,000 is a lot, and I'll go ahead and tell you the difference. So the total difference from my freshman to my senior year was $5,380. So now that you understand the scholarship money that I had coming in, and you also know the tuition money that was being asked of me, you kind of understand that consistently every single year I was getting $41,000 no matter what. That wasn't changing unless it changed a little bit due to me taking 5 classes instead of 4 or 3 instead of 4, that type of thing. But when it came to the tuition costs, it was anywhere from $48,000 to $53,000. So those loans that I was taking out weren't adjusting for that difference. They were stuck. Whatever that loan was when I got it, that is what it was each year. So even with all of the scholarship money that I had and all of the loans I had taken out, every single semester I had to pay something out of pocket. And this is, me basically with my job money, with, if my parents wanted to help me out a little bit, and it could be anywhere from $500 to over $2,000 that I had to pay out of pocket that semester. And it was really, really hard, especially as someone that doesn't want to ask their parents to help them out all the time, especially when they've already helped them with the parental loan and things like that. And I'm also not going to go begging to my grandparents to help me pay for it either. So I really just saved up my money and made sure that I could pay those out of pocket differences on my own. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my little notebook to the side and, just kind of talk to you guys about my thoughts. It's a little bit difficult because I know that, some people might think that this video is, I don't know, a little bit controversial, but at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. The scholarships are the scholarships. And if you are thinking about going to Rollins, then this is something you need to sit down with you and whoever is going to be, your support system at home, whether that's your parents, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever, that you sit down and you really have an honest financial conversation about, is this going to be the best fit for me? Of course, looking back, I kind of have regrets sometimes about, man, I could have gotten a business degree at UCF for so much cheaper. I wouldn't have the debt that I have. But at the same time, I genuinely think that everything happens for a reason. I went to Rollins for a reason, and I loved my undergraduate degree in social entrepreneurship. I really loved my experience there with my professors and, having the ability to complete my first year of my MBA program during my senior year because of their 3-2 program. Like, these were all such great pros that it was a little bit difficult to just be like, oh, I wish I could go back in time and not go to Rollins. And I know that honestly, I'm on the right path, and this financial situation is something that I can definitely handle and that I'm responsible for. But I honestly really want you guys, especially if you are seniors in high school, to sit down and just really take charge on this. Like, you need to fully understand what you're getting yourself into, what the tuition increases, if there are any, are going to look like, so that you can properly account for them, so that if you are paying for things out of pocket and you don't have a ton of financial support from parents and things, that you are able to make good decisions, save up your money so that you're not getting yourself in a pickle. And things like that are going to happen. Not every situation is going to be perfect, just like mine, but honestly, I learned a lot from it, and I don't regret what happened, like I said before. But I think that this video is just going to be helpful for you guys that want to know the numbers. I honestly think this would be a great video for parents that are the ones kind of in charge of this process. If you are a parent and you are trying to be responsible for this, that is really great, and you should be proud of yourself for just being so involved in your children's lives. But I do urge you, if you're a parent, that you don't let your kids be blind to everything going on. They are adults, they are going to college, they should be thoroughly involved in the financial process so that they understand when they graduate what they're going to be paying for and what you're going to be paying for. All right, so I think that's really all that I had for you. I was nervous, but I'm not really nervous anymore, because at the end of the day, I feel like you guys know me, you know my channel, and if you don't, please check out some of my other videos, and if you like them, subscribe to my channel. I am probably going to be releasing more college focused videos, especially during this time of the year, because I know a lot of you seniors are trying to make really big decisions for your livelihood for the next 4 years and trying to figure out where to go. And I want to make as many helpful videos as I can to make that process easier, because I remember when I was in school, I watched so many YouTube videos on things like this, and this subject was not brought up. So I hope that this helps in any big and small way, like I said, and that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, recommendations for other videos or things you want to see, please let me know in the comments below. You can also DM me on my Instagram, which is at Tatiana Fagan, which is my name, and you can also connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I think it's funny that not a lot of people on YouTube talk about LinkedIn, but YouTube is not something that makes me money in any way. I only have 300 something just subscribers, so these videos are really just something that I do for you guys and I do for myself as as a little hobby, but I have almost a full-time job and I'm in school. And so if you guys have any questions for me as well, you can always connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can help you out in any way. Of course, I am not going to know all of the answers, so if there's anything I don't know, I will of course direct you to someone at Rollins that can easily answer that question, because they are paid for this and there are so many wonderful people on campus that would love to help you out in this process as well. Alright, so that's it for today's video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!